So I'm not wearing the color of the day today, which bothers me just a little. Instead, I'm wearing the colors of Hokmah, because whether it's gray or white that you choose to work with, Hokmah embodies wisdom, and it doesn't have a day. It doesn't have a tangible location on this side of the abyss. However, it is the place where we look forward. It is the ultimate point of wisdom, where Binah, in looking back, is the ultimate point of understanding. So there's a forward focus to Hokmah, just like there's a backward focus and a limit to Saturn. There is an unlimit to Hokmah. There is no limit to what we can learn from books. There is, however, a great deal that we can't experience. And so that is what Hokmah is. It is knowledge without a body. It is forward thinking, but not yet having brought it into the present. And most of all, it's wisdom. Often, knowledge, as a matter of fact, is assigned to Doth, which is the child, you could say, of Hokmah and Binah that broke the first time God attempted to contain the immovable object before he filled it with irresistible force. So knowledge, or the Akashic records, lie in Doth. We are not talking about that kind of I know it all. We're talking about I have a wisdom and an awareness and an ability to see the future. And I often get questions about, what books would you suggest I read about the Tree of Life? Dion Fortune's Mystical Kabbalah is probably the most authoritative book I've used. What I like about Dion Fortune is she's thorough. She's grounded outside of a judgment that is American. She's, as an English author, she has what feels like more history and decades of experience. And what I don't like about her is that we're talking about an English author from decades ago whose sentence structure is a little closer to Hemingway than what I would like to use. So, Mystical Kabbalah, maybe not the first book, unless you've already been doing a lot of academic reading or have some understanding, but a very powerful book. Quite honestly, all of Dion Fortune's works are fantastic. And at one point, when she realized she was getting too academic, she wrote books like The Sea Priestess, because she was trying to tell in a story form that energy and that attraction as the seeress and the power of what could be in some of these forms that we're not quite ready to understand. So, Dion Fortune's Mystical Kabbalah. Ellen Cannon Reed did a fantastic job. Although I'm told this is now printed only by request, so they'll direct print it. There's some versions of this book called The Goddess in the Tree. In this, Ellen Cannon Reed does a very good job of making it very pagan. Her devil, instead of being a devil, is Pan, because she's taken out some of the Christian judgments or Judeo-Christian judgments that we see in Dion Fortune's work. I like this also because it helps inform the tarot deck that Ellen Cannon Reed uses, in which she puts a big sphere on each card so you could see, for example, the Fool moving from the white light of Keter into the grayness of the abyss, or into the grayness of the cliff he's going to step off of, is Hokmah. So that deck has its own book called The Witch's Tarot that details some of the impact of the tree on the tarot cards. This, I think, is the funniest book ever written, although I'm told that some people wouldn't get jokes that are referring to augury today. Milo Duquette has done a lot of fantastic work. He's a member of the OTO. He's got a very definitive book on the Thoth Tarot with great quotes that are exchanged between Crowley and Lady Harris. What I like about this one is he's made it lighthearted. This is a tongue-in-cheek look at the very serious study of the tree, and how that comes across is, I think, hilarious, and it's opening possibilities up. That this is not a stuffed shirt thing, but it's something to encourage you to play with. So, check this one out if you'd like a good joke. And finally, I've mentioned before the middle pillar. Israeli Regardie, I've got 3 or 4 other copies of this book in a lot of different forms. There's one that was redone, I think, in the 70s with additional commentary that's really good. Israeli Regardie wrote up the exercise of the middle pillar, which is basically intoning the God names of each of the spheres on the middle pillar. So you would hold your hands on your crown for Keter and intone the God name for Keter all the way down to the ground, where you would intone the God name for Malkut. It is a powerful way to raise your energy, and a lot of discussion about why that's important. And oddly, some very concerned words. So Israeli Regardie says you could have a psychotic break if you got this intense energy without having done the LBRP, or lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, enough times, because you need to clear and banish all of these misunderstandings and blockages in your system in order to be able to channel that energy of the middle pillar. Personally, my experience is, if you haven't done a daily practice of some kind, and I'm not particularly attached to which kind, you won't be able to raise the energy to the level that's going to cause a psychotic break. However, the more you practice, the more you clean out, the more you clarify your energy channels, the more energy you can raise. And certainly an unexperienced person vibrating God names that have been used for 5,000 years is going to have a little bit more oomph than they could have on their own. There's a lot of other really great books on the Tree of Life, and I hope I get a chance to share them with you someday in the future. For more information, find my website, tarotjane.com, or find me on Facebook, Tarot Jane, or Traveling the Tree with Jane Pierce.